If you're anything like me, you've probably wondered how the hell to keep up on all of these social media platforms. Creating a big plan for content on each platform sounds extremely overwhelming on top of all of the other tasks you've set for yourself, and choosing to avoid it has been the easy choice far too many times. If you're in the content creation game, then the only way to grow is to continue creating content. What's going on, guys? My name is Ashton, and today I want to share with you guys 4 questions that I've learned to ask myself before I go into shoots. And today we're going to be using Instagram and YouTube as examples. These questions don't ask for too much of your time and hopefully will reduce a lot of stress for you. To give some context for the content we're working with today, me and my girlfriend Caroline recently spent a weekend back in my hometown to visit some family. She brought up the idea of going to a nearby lake to shoot some shuffling content for her Instagram, and to our disadvantage, it turned out to be extremely cold.
Alright, what you think?
It's a little cold.
I think it was like 44 degrees, but the wind was the worst part. I don't know how my knuckles made it through. They were so crusty and dry, I don't even want to talk about it. In the past, I would have just shot the videos that she asked for and called it a day, not thinking to include anything that might benefit my social media. In other words, I wouldn't think of the questions that I'm going to share with you today. So the first question you should ask yourself is, which social media platforms do I want to share my work on? Asking yourself this question will help you be more intentional going into the shoot. For example, are you posting on Instagram Reels? Are you looking to share on stories? Are you going to be posting on YouTube? Obviously, those different platforms have different dimensions, so you have to keep that in mind as you're filming. See, I knew that Caroline was going to need Instagram Reels because that's just what she's pushing right now. That's what Instagram is pushing. With Instagram Reels, you have a very narrow dimension so that it fits the iPhone. But I knew I wanted to create a YouTube video with it as well, so I made sure to give some hefty distance between me and her so that I could crop in later. But also I have the widescreen so that I can make this video for you guys. But keeping this in mind will ensure that you're staying aware of what you're going to have to do later on in post. The second question you should ask yourself is, do I have any extra cameras available? The reason for this question is to encourage capturing BTS content. People want to see your process. They want to see how you're creating the thing that you're sharing. So it's as simple as just picking your iPhone up, putting it down on the ground, maybe using your wallet to hold it up, you know, I'm sure you've done it before, and just press the record button. Just let it sit while you film. I personally use this little Joby tripod thing, and I have this little thing that holds my iPhone and it just snaps on right there, and literally it's that simple. You could also use like a Gorilla Pod, which both of these are very affordable. I think this is maybe around 50, 60 bucks, and this is like half that. It's really not asking for a lot. Doing this will show people the process and will give them an inside look on how you do what you do. Later on, you can use this as BTS and put it on your Instagram story. Almost every single time that you end up doing it, you'll be so glad that you did. And every time you don't, you'll wonder, dang, I just wish I had just a little bit of something to show these people. It'll also encourage them to click on the final product. Let's say you post something, this new big video that you put out, and you put out this Instagram story. Well, now the people feel like they have like a personal connection to it, hopefully. And then they just go watch the video. It's so simple. It literally takes an extra 15, 30 seconds, 60 seconds of your time while you're at the shoot. The third question you should ask yourself is, what could someone possibly find interesting about how I created this project? This kind of ties back to what I just mentioned earlier, but document the juicy parts of the process. Think to yourself, what might be interesting to someone else that I could easily document right now? Even if it is with just your iPhone. You can pull it out of your pocket, it's real quick, and you just take the photo and then you import it later. It doesn't have to be amazing quality or anything, it's just something that shows the process. And even then, the phones nowadays are better than half of the DSLRs that we have. We're living in a crazy time where our iPhones are just as capable as our DSLRs, which is crazy. Let's say that you were going someplace and taking photos. You could make a video montage of that place. You could take the photos themselves. You could take some behind the scenes photos, maybe let's say you holding your camera and then maybe showing your camera settings. And you could include this all in one carousel on Instagram. And this alone is a lot more engaging than just posting one of those photos at a time. To add on to this question, asking yourself this will determine exactly what it is that you document. People want to see your process, but they don't want to see every single little detail with you grabbing your door handle, stepping out of the car, opening the car door, pulling the equipment out, getting ready. Maybe if you did it little, quick cuts, but you don't even have to go that far. The more simple it is, the better, because you want to focus on the big product, the big thing, that the reason you're there for. If I saw somebody taking their equipment out of their car and it was just a sit-alone shot with their phone, maybe pointing at their car, that would signify to me that something interesting is about to happen. That would pique my curiosity, and it would make me wonder, what are they up to? It's those kind of things that encourage people to interact with you and to engage with you, and that's the whole point. To build suspense and to make people feel like they're watching you create something instead of just seeing the thing that you created. And the fourth question you should ask yourself is, how can I repurpose this content I captured for multiple platforms? After you've decided on which platforms you want to work with, then ask yourself, how could you possibly repurpose this big content for each platform? And I know I said that we were only going to talk about Instagram and YouTube, but let's say you have a website and let's say you have a YouTube. You could easily create a video, take that video and turn it into a blog. Just watch the video back, type out as you're listening, and what does that do? Repurposing that helps you become more searchable on the internet, and it helps you with SEO. It also attracts a different audience. Maybe people don't like YouTube and they only want to read. There are a lot of people like that, believe it or not. That kind of blew my mind recently. But back to my point, some people might prefer to read it. And I know podcasters do the same thing. Some people don't really want to sit down and listen to a full podcast. They just want to know what was the meat of the conversation. So that's why podcasters sometimes do show notes. They put it on their website. It helps them with SEO. And it diversifies their content, which is the whole point. I think it's important to keep in mind how your viewers behave, and don't box your viewers into one social platform. There are people who might prefer to read. There are people who might only want Instagram. There might be people who only want YouTube. To repurpose a big YouTube video, it takes just about half the time it took to create it to repurpose it for another platform. So it's almost silly for you to not repurpose for each platform, because each platform has their benefits in helping you grow your audience. The more people that you can help, the more people you can impact, the better off both of you are. Make it easy for people to consume your content, and over time, they'll continue to come back for more and more and more. Whew, that felt like a lot. But those are the 4 questions. This idea of shooting a bunch of content and having this big plan used to extremely overwhelm me to the point where I didn't do it at all. But now that I've asked myself these 4 questions, I have an Instagram story, I have this Instagram reel of a BTS sort of thing showing how I filmed the video. I also have the actual video that I'm using on the YouTube with the widescreen. And then of course, Caroline has her Instagram reels that she can post. That's at least 4 things extra. And I'll also have a blog on my website, sharing all of these things in Word format. And here's the thing, asking yourself these questions and planning it out before the shoot takes about maybe 15 minutes max. And I'm being extremely generous on that. Set the intention beforehand and the rest will follow. And you will always thank yourself later. If you have something that you do every single time you go into a shoot that helps you repurpose content, diversify it for other platforms, let me know. I'm interested to see how you approach these things, and if maybe I can throw something in my approach as well. Y'all like this new little backdrop? Push the desk back a little bit. Maybe I'll continue doing this, but it was a bitch to set up, so I think I'm gonna keep doing it though. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.